Welcome back. The Police and Prisons Civil Rights Union says the employee health and wellness programs provided for the men and women in blue has very deadly shortcomings. The union made the comments on the back of an incident in Limpopo where a police officer murdered his colleague and wounded another before turning the gun on himself. Today, I am now joined by Richard Mamabolo, who is the spokesperson of POPCRU. Richard, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this afternoon. Now, there are very alarming results coming out of the policing fraternity. I mean, 300 police officers have reportedly committed suicide since 2017. What are your reactions as POPCRU to such incidences?
Good afternoon to you and the viewers. Look, Katlago, we are quite concerned about these escalating numbers. As you would know that we were among the first to say that, we do welcome the employee and health wellness programs. But however, we have indicated various challenges which surround them because we have for the longest of time been engaged with our members. And just in the past 2 months, we've been having congresses again, where we further engage our members around whether these programs have been effective or assisting members or not. And one of the things that we pick up is that since we've been complaining about them, because this is not a new issue, there has not been much done in ensuring that they are improved. For example, you would know that being a police officer working within the criminal justice cluster, a lot of our members go through what you call post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, in instances where members would obviously be going to scenes of crime, and some of the things that they would see, they would definitely need to be debriefed, and that is precisely the purpose why these health and wellness programs are there. But complaints that we've been getting are different kinds. For example, some members feel that there are no follow-up meetings, whilst a huge chunk of others feel that there's no confidentiality. So in the case where an officer would go through these programs, they are then scared that some of the information would be leaked to their colleagues, and in certain ways, this sometimes prevents some of the members from getting promotions, because within the SAPS, when you are to get a promotion or when you apply for a promotion, there are a variety of considerations that are made. And one of them is the mental state of a member who would want to get promotion. So members feel that these programs are not working for them, and instead they opt for other private services. So we feel that there should definitely be more done in ensuring that these programs assist a variety of members, but also to pick up as to when there are challenges, because despite the fact that we've been raising these challenges, we have also been having different programs to raise awareness about mental health challenges and how to go about through with post-traumatic stress disorder. So we think that the SAPS needs to actually look into how we can improve these services for our members.
And with your engagements with SAPS and some of these wellness programs, what's their reasoning? I mean, you speak of PTSD and no follow-ups being taken and no confidentiality. When you raise these issues with them, what are the responses that you're getting?
In the past 2 years, we have sent reports about how our members feel about the programs, and we've obviously as well observed as to whether they are being used or not. And what we've picked up is that members for private services, because of the very same challenges now, it has been a debate, and we've of course raised it even through our policing interview, which we had last year. So it's something that the SAPS management does know about. I think for us, it's a question of whether there will be changes made, because I think from time to time, at least on an annual basis, we do research and to find out as to whether members are going back into utilizing these services or not. And what it seems like now is that members are still not confident. So there definitely needs to be urgent engagements around how we can actually improve them. And of course, we're willing to work with the SAPS. One of the other proposals that had been made was that police have got a medical aid scheme called POLMED, was that perhaps POLMED should take over that service, which would obviously perhaps be better run as compared to the way it currently is.
And who's currently running it?
Well, we've got divisional commissioners, we've got deputy commissioners who are responsible for different functions, and it's under one of the deputy national commissioners as things stand. And of course, this is not to necessarily want to isolate the SAPS management from, or even the people who are leading this specific, mental health and wellness program. But the fact of the matter is that, despite the many concerns that have been raised, there has not been clear action taken towards improving it.
How does the culture, the organizational climate and the leadership within SAPS influence the mental health outcomes of their staff?
Yeah, look, the SAPS has had many problems, challenges around uneven allocation of resources. Challenges that face most members is the fact that promotions are not necessarily happening at the rate which they are supposed to be doing. We've had incidents around danger allowance as well, which has just been increased from last year from 400 to 700, which is still not enough. These are matters that we're taking up, of course. And of course, most importantly, the restructuring of the SAPS. You would know that we've got a declining staff complement, which has to look after a population of over 62 million people across the country. Now, our members are overburdened by that, but as well as personal challenges, financial challenges as well, due to the fact that, salaries have not been increasing for the past 3 years or so. Since COVID-19, our members have had to be the ones who are at the forefront of ensuring that people do abide by the restrictions. And yet, since then, there have been salary increases, decreases rather, salary freezes, and of course, there are other outstanding matters which we think should be improved. Police are being killed on a regular basis. There has not been a clear plan around how to deal with challenges of police killings. And of course, some of the proposals we did make to the commissioner, and we now have a new minister. We're looking forward to ensuring that there are legislative amendments which would be made to ensure that police killings become declared as treasonous, but also to look at some of the laws that have been set up. For example, the Criminal Procedure Act. It's some act that has been put in place since the 70s, and we think that is not in sync with the current democratic dispensation. So our members definitely need more protection. Our members need to have improved salaries. They need to, obviously, most of them are breadwinners. They need to obviously have improved lives. And we think that will obviously as well uplift the morale that is currently low.
Is there any role that the community can play? Because quite often we find, like in this very incident where a police officer maybe turns the gun on himself, it starts off with them turning the gun first on their family members, on their children, on their wives. What role do you believe the community can assist in police having a clear mental space in order for them not only to do their jobs but also to be upstanding members of the society?
Yes, firstly, police men and women are members of the communities first before they become officers. So it's quite important that police as well work with ensuring that they operate under conducive environments. And of course, I think it's one of the very important things that I think will obviously as well not only deal with addressing challenges around post-traumatic distress disorder, but generally the relationship and the crime rate that we find in the country are as a basis that there have not been good working relations between communities and police. We've got a culture where in most places, especially in our black communities, there's lack of trust. There has been a lack of trust between police and communities due to the historical past that we come from. And since the South African police force has been moved to moved from being a force to a service, we need more civilian oversight. We need to work together to ensure that we build better working relations, because in fact, in most areas where there are good working relationships between police and communities, the crime rates tend to go down. So it's one of the most important things that we definitely need to look into how we can actually work towards achieving.
Lastly, I mean, you've mentioned you've written reports, you've engaged with SAPS, you've made proposals that POLMED should be the one that takes over these wellness programs. Looking ahead, what are the key priorities and strategies that POPCRU aims to pursue in addressing these mental health issues amongst our men and women in blue in order to avert suicide risks and just the wellness of our police officers in the country?
Yeah, look, we've got clear plans. I think our plans have been widely presented. We will continue with campaigns and awareness campaigns, but also to continue engaging with the SAPS. Now that we've got a new minister as well, I think, from as far as I know, our leadership has not yet met with the new leadership of the SAPS. And I think dialogue should ensue. And with that dialogue, of course, we will be raising some of the key aspects of priorities that we think as a union would assist in ensuring that we bring about stability within the South African Police Service.
All right, Richard, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this afternoon. That was Richard Mamabolo, who is the spokesperson of POPCRU, speaking to us there about those alarming numbers of policemen losing their lives.